watching In Deep on the Delta. Today my special guest is friend and colleague Christian Ostrander. Christian, you just spent 5 days on the Delta, 2 days of practice, 3 days of fishing, the BAM Pro-Am Delta. You came out on top. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
That's not an easy thing to do. And we're going to go through the whole thing. We'll talk about the 2 days of practice. We'll talk about the 3 days of the tournament, making the top 10, what you had to do. You're going to give up some juice on kind of what you were looking for, what you had to do. And I'm going to have some questions about, how you were feeling through the tournament. It's an emotional roller coaster, and people don't realize how draining not only the physical part of it is, but emotionally, thinking about what am I going to do? How do I get into the top 10? If you're in the top 10, what am I going to do when, it's just, it's a tough 5 days of fishing. So let's start off with 2 days of practice. How were you feeling after your practice?
Yeah, you know what? Well, first off, I've been out here quite a bit the last, month and a half. And I already knew it's basically everything I was going to do. I didn't get up super early at all the first 2 days of practice, and I only went out from 9:30 to 2:30 when the tide was real low.
Okay, so you were chasing the low tide.
Low tide.
And you knew that's what you wanted to fish during
Absolutely,
the tournament.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, the tide was going to be high every day during the tournament right off the bat, and I already knew what I was going to do. No matter what, I knew exactly where I was going. If that didn't work, I had a plan. So, but when the tide drops out, bite got a lot tougher. So my whole deal was to go find punch water. Central Delta, nothing crazy, and that's what I did the 2 days of practice.
So when you found those fish, did you fish them much, or did you just find places, hey, I know there's fish here, maybe I saw them, maybe you got a couple of bites, did you just left those alone to come back during the tournament?
Absolutely. I knew exactly, from my weeks of being out here where these fish were laying.
You look at that top 10, I think 8 out of the top 10 were local guys, not maybe necessarily Stockton, but they were within 50 miles of the Delta. So that is so important here on the Delta. But the bottom line is there was a lot of locals. You go to Clear Lake and you look at the top 20 out of some of these big tournaments, and you've got guys from Washington winning them. They're coming from all over because, it's a forward-facing sonar deal, blah, blah, blah. You get on the Delta, and you better put in your dirty work long before the tournament. Yeah. So, congratulations to all you guys that went out and you did that, and you cashed a check and did well. I know it's tough, even though even though the Delta is the Delta, it is not an easy fishery. So you've got your 2 days of fishing, you know what you're going to do. How'd the first day go for you?
You know what? I had a little something in my mind the first day. My partner Hunter and I, we won the Bassel the week before with almost 24 pounds, okay? And we did that in an area kind of out of Central Delta, so it was far. And, we only spent like an hour and a half in this area, and we caught them quick. And I said, all right, well, let's slide out of here. I'm going to save them for the Pro-Am. I didn't check it before the tournament, and of course day one you gotta go. There was 6 and 7 pounders swimming around, spawning in this area, just moving in to spawn. And I made a gamble and made a pretty decent long run, and there was no bass. There was no bass in this area. There was a lot of carp swimming around, spooking the bass, or zero bass. So it was already 10 o'clock and I had 0 fish. Not one fish. So my head's spinning. I come back down Central right away on a spinning rod and a trick worm. I catch a 5 pounder. Then I catch a 4 pounder, and I catch a 2.5 pounder. But I was still pretty bummed out because a lot of guys had over 20 pounds, and I only had like 1770 day one. So there was no winning the tournament after day one in my head. There was no winning it. I was super bummed.
You've got 10 pounds to make up.
Yes.
Or, to get up to where you feel like you not maybe necessarily get in the top 10, but to get a chance of winning, you had a lot to make up.
Exactly.
So you didn't go to the same spots on day that you
Absolutely not. Well, I fished a couple, that I caught, like the 5 and the 4.
Okay.
I tried to fish around those as well.
Are you fishing the same techniques? You said you came back and you caught a lot of your stuff on, was it?
Spinning rod, trick worms, and then punching.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and then, you know, super high tide the second day, right? You know, and that's been key. I've been catching a lot of big fish on that big high tide. So wasn't really happening. And then, you know what? I finally get that big bite. You know, I was wanting on a spinning rod, and dude, I fought that thing, jumped 2-3 times.
A worm?
Worm. Came off, 7+ pounder. So what are you gonna do, you know? And I didn't have anything yet. And I'm like, wow.
You were
know.
still, how long did it take you to get your first fish in the boat second day?
It took me a while. It took me till 9 o'clock to start catching some fish.
Okay.
And which was bizarre because I was thinking before 9 I could have a couple really key fish. And I don't know why, but those areas I was fishing, they were not biting. Were they there? Absolutely. But man, they just were not biting. Started fishing around and started to really start catching them. Super uptight. I got my worm stuck once in the rocks, and I saw a couple big ones swimming around. You know, were they spawning? Were they hanging? Whatever. I'm not gonna look for them. I'm gonna fish for them. So I'm gonna make long casts and fish for these fish. And boom, started catching them. Caught a 5, caught a 4, caught another 4. So I started catching them. This is around 10, 11 o'clock that day too. I had like 21 pounds. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in the top 10 with this. Guys are going to fall off big time. I'm going to be in the top 10. But, you know, I'm already starting to think about the third day. But I need to cull. I need to cull. I need to catch one more big one. I had like a 3.5 pounder I had to get rid of. And with about 30 minutes left to weigh in, that tide really started coming in. And I had this big grassed out area. And I whip it in there. And there's just one pocket. Okay, there's grass everywhere. There's one pocket they kind of just been sitting around in. It's a big pocket, grass clumps, but holes where they could spawn or just hang out in, wait for this current to flow in. And sure enough, I whip it in there.
What'd you throw?
I threw out my spinning rod in there. I threw a worm in there, and I caught a 5 pounder. So that bumped me up big time. That bumped me up almost to 24 pounds. So that was a big deal.
So how many fish did you call on day one?
Day one wasn't a big culling day. I culled 2 fish, 3 fish.
So you only caught 7 or 8 fish.
Yeah.
How about on day 2?
Day 2 was big, man. We caught a ton of keepers. I might have caught keeper-wise, I might have caught 13, 14, 15 keepers. So
fishing had really...
Yes.
Was it weather-related?
Yeah, you know what? I'll be completely honest with you. Day 1 was clear. Day 2 and 3, overcast. I've been out here enough. Overcast days, if you're in the right areas, you can catch them big time. So I'll be honest, if I didn't have that overcast, I think I would have fell short of the win. I think I would have didn't catch that 1 or 2 extra fish just because of the overcast, you know. And I believe second place was bed fishing. If he had that sun, you never know. He might have been able to see just that many extra fish. So the overcast extremely helped my worm bite.
With the overcast, did you try topwaters?
I chucked it around a little bit. I chucked a frog here and there. Dead low tide, man. You get that frog over 1 or 2 of them grass clumps, and man, you could catch that a toad. Mm-hmm. So overcast was insane.
You came in. What did you have the second day?
I had 23.75.
And that moved you into second place.
Moved me into second, a pound behind first.
Right. When I saw that, I was watching the weigh-in. I turned to my son, Nate. You guys know Nate, and I said, Nate, Christian's winning this thing.
Yeah. Did. I knew I had a shot. I was excited. Yes.
And I texted you something, good luck or something, but I didn't tell you that until the next day because I didn't want to jinx you.
No, can't jinx
but
it.
I knew the top 10 guys are in there. A lot of them are local guys. Anybody could win it. Mm-hmm. But I knew how hard you've been pushing out there. And local knowledge is always on the Delta, I think, going to win over.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the thing. First day, about how far did you run boat-wise?
Well, let's put it this way. I filled up at the end of my first day. It cost me $239 to fill up my boat. So you tell me, we're running. That's the Delta. Fishing's tough. Day 2, I spent 130 something. So, you know, I'm spending
you were
gas.
dialing in.
Yes, I'm driving, man.
Third day. Before we even get into it, how much did you spend on gas on the third day?
I spent like 110, so not as much. I was really honed in, but still, you know, hopped around a few areas.
So you were getting dialed in. You're just a pound or two behind. So first and second, I mean, it's a toss-up. What were you thinking you were going to do when you hit that third day? I know you weren't fishing for third place. You weren't fishing for eighth place. You were fishing to win. Were you going to stay in your same spots in the Central Delta? Were you going to do the same thing? What did you do? When did you catch your first fish? And I want to know what you caught each one of your call fish on.
So, crazy day, man, that third day. You know, driving to the ramp in the morning, I already had a plan. You know, I caught the majority of my 23, 24 pounds the day two, all in one area. You know, I caught 3 of my biggest ones kind of all in one area. So the plan is to go there, right? I caught a lot of 3s as well.
And what were those? What was the size of your 3 big ones?
5-pounders.
5.
All
so
5s.
You didn't have a
No.
I know one of the guys was it Jordy had a 10-pounder.
1070 on the day 3. So, it scared the crap out of me. So
okay, go on.
Yeah. So day 3, I'm sitting there. They call my boat number. I'm boat number 2 out. I'm following the first guy, and all I can think about is this area I was going. This tide was going to be top high, almost a 4-something foot tide. Okay, and when it gets high like that, fish sometimes do not bite. Okay, you got a ton of water between the grass. You got a ton of water between the bottom. These fish have a lot of room to move. They do not bite that very good. So I'm sitting there. I'm idling out. I got a little area in my mind. I did not fish it the first 2 days, but a couple weeks ago I caught some good ones in this area, 4 or 5 pounders, and it was on my way to the area I caught them on day 2. So this is all Central Delta. So I said, heck with it. Let's do this. Let's just go there. Let's fish it for 20 minutes. It ain't gonna hurt. And I was running there, and it's just right next to Frank's track. It's nothing crazy, and
how deep
I
is
get
this
in there.
spot?
This is a shallow area. It's probably about
shallow,
5
okay.
feet. But when that tide gets high, these fish really roam around big time, you know. And I roll up in this area, and it just looks perfect. I got overcast. You know, right away, within the first 10 minutes, I catch a 4.5. I'm pumped. I know I'm going to catch some more big ones in this spot. Within the next hour and a half, my scale says 20 pounds. It's 8 in the morning. It's 8 in the morning. I got 20
What
pounds.
were you catching them on?
I was catching them all on a trick worm.
Do you mind asking, talking about the color?
Oh, dude, color does not matter. You can throw a green pumpkin. You can throw a black and blue, a black or red. This week with the overcast, I threw mainly darker colors. So you can get away throwing lighter stuff. I don't think it matters. When it gets overcast, they want to bite. So I just stuck it with some darker colors. I mixed a little June bug in there, a little plum, trick worm. So all this stuff, man, is all you got to pay attention to. That overcast, darker colors. So,
did you call anything after you said you had 20-some pounds in at 10 o'clock? Did you call anything?
Yeah, I went to my little area that I caught them day 2, and was not happening. Tons of local boats in there after I had it to myself day 1. There was like 5 local boats, couple kayaks. I said, well, this is done. I'm so glad I didn't come here off the bat. And sure enough, I see another boat. They catch a giant 8-pounder.
Tournament boat?
No, just fishing around. They catch an 8-pounder on a worm. I'm like, nice, perfect. That's what I need, you know, and that's a spot I wanted to fish too. And I fish around. I catch one 3 3/4. Helps me a pound, dang near.
Do you feel at that point you have enough to win, or you're comfortable?
I did. I felt like, because it was only 11:30.
But you
when I had my whole bag.
You wanted a 6 or 7.
Well, yeah, I needed a 6 or 7. I did catch a 6-pounder though in the morning. I had a 4.5 and a 6 that day too. So that was, dude, I was super pumped. And I had one just a 3-pounder that I knew I could catch a 5-pounder. I knew I could, man. I had a lot of key areas around Mildred, around Mandeville and Frank's track. I knew that, man, if I just hit this right on this dead super low, I could catch one, punching or worming. So,
another question. You mentioned how much you were running around, and how many stops were you making per day, and how long? I mean, were you making stops that you were fishing 20 or 30 minutes? Were you making a ton of stops where you may only fish 2 minutes and go? I know I've fished with you, and a lot of times when we're fishing, if you don't like that spot, it could be 1 or 2 casts and you're gone. So how many stops did you make?
You know what? Day 2 and 3, I probably made a total of 15, 16 spots.
Oh, that's not
both
bad
days.
at all. You were
Yeah.
fishing a while then when you got on.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there were some times too that, areas I would pull up on and the tide was just too low. I'm just looking at it and you just couldn't look at it. You could hop up on the front deck and be like, man, this is so low. These fish are going to be way deep on the edge of the grass and just really hard to catch. When you get that 1-2 foot tide, they still are high up in the grass and kind of searching. But when that tide sometimes drops way out, man, they shimmy down way deep in the grass and on the edge, yeah. And even hard to punch them. And I love punching on that minus tide, zero tide. But man, this week was different for that. I did punch a few key ones as well, but
worms were a big part.
Worms were a big deal, man. I knew coming into it. It was going to be a worm deal. So, and all these guys that come out here, they want a frog. They want to throw a double buzz bait. They want to throw a whopper plopper, baits that catch big ones, but was not happening. These fish were not just so aggressive to dart up there and crush that frog. Some guys, yeah, they caught them on that, but not enough, maybe enough to get a check. But this week was a slow week.
Well, you did what you did and it paid off, and you've got the local knowledge. A lot of other guys have local knowledge. A lot of the really good Delta guys went with another program and it didn't pay off. But this was your week. You got the trophy to prove it. You got a new Vexus bass boat here. And by the way, before we wrap it up, you are guiding out here, so why don't you let them know that how they can get a hold of you, and also you've got a boat for sale. Let them know what you got here. It's a 18 foot Vexus AVX with the 115 Mercury, all set up. Well, it's actually not all set up, but it's ready for somebody to buy this boat and set it up the way they want it. So you got a boat for sale. Let them know how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, you know what? I had a super blessed week. I'm going to be guiding a ton out here. So you guys can look me up on Facebook or Instagram. Shoot me a message. See all the pictures of that I've taken these people out this year on these trips. And man, we've had an unreal year. But you could call or text me 209-648. 3778. I really want to thank Coop coming out here and doing this. Coop's my good buddy, and I really want to thank the BAM Trail. You know what? They're giving us something out here on the West Coast. I want a boat. Okay, there hasn't been many tournaments out here the last 7-8 years. In California, I can win a dang bass boat.
Yeah,
so
they do a good job with the tournament. Mark does a great job.
Unreal. So thanks to them, and so give me a call and love to get you guys out on the Delta.
You know what? Let's go out and do some catfishing. You're probably tired of bass. I'd like to catch a nice sized catfish.
Yeah, you know what? No, we're gonna pass on that, Coop. We're passing.
Right. Christian, congratulations, man. I'm glad you won the thing, and thank you guys for watching. Keep tuned in. We'll have Christian on. Maybe we'll go out and do another video.
We will.
On the water. Christian,
yes, sir.
Show you how he's catching these things. All right.
Thanks.
You guys, take it easy. Good luck out there.
Have a good one.